it was a fun game. And guess who got man of the match?
Nicholas Pepe.
He was so surprised today. I love Nicholas Pepe.
I should have
The
watched
crazy
it.
thing is, like, I know we're gonna make our customary joke because we have to,
No,
but
we don't.
and coach is not here. But the thing is, I was watching Nicholas Pepe and I was like, man, it's a life thing for me. It's like you go to anywhere in life that suits you, that makes you the star, makes you feel like you're comfortable, you will shine. And Pepe he was the best player on the pitch today. It was incredible to see him. Like every touch, every dribble, he looked great. And you won man of the match, and all we can tell you is find a good woman because this is what happens.
Find the best woman. And if you can't find a good woman, find a good... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shirtless Plantain Show, your midweek review / Champions League edition. How's it going, Tosin?
Fantastic, man. How are you?
I am quite well, thank you. And this is Dean, in case you didn't figure that one out already. But in any event, let's get right into it. Ain't no questions today, ain't no jokes, ain't no laughter. It's midweek, niggas is busy, we gotta run. Let's get to it. We start in Istanbul, where Galatasaray hosted Liverpool and beat them 1-0. A Victor Osimhen penalty was enough to settle this one. The host probably should have scored a few more based on that first half performance, but Alisson was in good form. Unfortunately for him, he got injured later in the game. Victor Osimhen was active as hell, but he's also quite inaccurate. There was one one-on-one in particular. I know it's Alisson, but he probably should have put that away. That said, Galatasaray deserved the win, didn't they?
They did. And the funny thing is, their managers talked about how they targeted specific Liverpool players. I think it was right back in the center mid. He was like, I targeted them specifically because we have to ask Gundogan for help because he obviously knows them from the Premier League and they targeted their weaknesses. So you got a game plan, it works.
Yeah, that's just good coaching 101 right there. You know, your opponent has a weakness, you take advantage of it. That said, it's 2 games in a row now that Liverpool have taken L's. They lost to Crystal Palace over the weekend, and they went to Istanbul and lost again. Now, to be fair, in Istanbul, they rotated a bit, which makes sense based on the amount of workload that they've had so far. But if you were a Liverpool fan, and I know that's blasphemy for you, given that you're a United fan, but if you were a Liverpool fan, would you be worrying right now? Virgil van Dijk told his people not to panic. How are you feeling if you were one of them?
I would calm down. I mean, obviously, there's going to be regression. There's naturally going to happen. You got people like TK and Isak trying to get to the squad. Also, not, going to sit here and lie. Liverpool's midfield is their weak point. And it's going to show in games, when there's a lot of game load and things like that. So I wouldn't be worried. I'd just be kind of, looking over my shoulder a little bit saying, that doesn't feel right. Because they also haven't played well this whole entire season. Let's keep it a beam. So it is some pause for concern. Like I said, you win in these gritty games when you can go win a game with 2 minutes left, right? So that's the good thing. But it's also some of these, games, the eye test never fails. So you'll be looking over your shoulder if you're a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, a little bit. From a more, I guess we can call it a bit of a tactical standpoint. What would you say? I think, initially when the season started, we all said, okay, Liverpool, they didn't get the defender they probably needed, with the Gahey deal falling through. But we figured they have enough offensively that it won't matter. Now you see a game where they didn't score a goal. I think this is the first time since March that they haven't scored a goal in a game in any competition. And it makes me wonder, have we overrated the offense? Because ultimately, I mean, a team with that much firepower should not be drawn a blank, regardless of the context. I feel they should always be able to score at least one goal. But what do you think the issue is? Is it finally that we're seeing the absence of Trent? Because they're missing essentially the guy that was their best ball progressor for what felt like a decade. So that just doesn't get fixed in, 6 weeks.
I truly believe Liverpool spent that money they should have on Isak they should use that to buy a defender in the midfield. I think it was too much greed. Football is a sport where we don't care if you have all the firepower up top. It's a balanced game, right? If your goalkeeper and your center backs are not good and your midfielders aren't good, it doesn't matter how good your forward line is. Football is a balanced thing. You're seeing it at my club where you have really good attackers but no midfielders, and that makes everything fall apart. So you have to have balance in each phase of the pitch, and Liverpool don't have that balance. Virgil, bless his heart, one of the best center backs to ever do it. He's playing next to a defender in Konate who really doesn't want to be in Liverpool anymore. His mind's basically in Madrid. So that is imbalance right there. Your fullbacks aren't that balanced, right? Kirk has not looked that good. Neither has Frimpong, and neither has the other right back, Conor Bradley, and the other left back, which is an aging Robertson, right? Then you look at that midfield, they don't have a ball progressor. They don't have any runners anymore. McAllister does not look like McAllister anymore. He looks tired and leggy.
Yeah, he didn't have a preseason. He didn't have a preseason. So
yeah, exactly. Wirtz does not look like Wirtz from Leverkusen. I'm not going to say anything mean. He just doesn't look the same. Ryan Gravenberch is their best midfielder, and it's just like one man cannot shoulder a whole entire midfield. So when you have these imbalances in your team, you're going to see what you're seeing today with the 1-0. And the reason why they're beating teams in the Premier League is because they just have that firepower. But again, that can't last you the whole season. They're not Superman, right? They can't do everything by themselves. So long story short, Liverpool don't have balance. And yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, I think Arne Slot essentially took advantage of the remaining Jurgen Klopp juice and won himself a quick prem. So now he's going to have to show us that he can really coach at this level. Because, again, credit to him. He did get them to the Carling Cup final as well, where they lost to Alexander Isak's Newcastle at the time. But I think now is when we actually get to judge him and really see him coach. I think from an offensive standpoint, besides Trent missing, again, he was their best ball progressor for many years. It almost feels as if they're kind of stuck at the midpoint between, incorporating 3 new players, specifically Wirtz, because a player like that, you kind of have to build around him, and having the OG that's been carrying them for many years in Mohamed Salah, and I don't know, I haven't watched enough of him, in detail to say he's declining or anything like that, but I just think there's a bit of a tension between trying to build a team around an all phases, all-rounder 10 and your right winger that's been bagging goals for years, and this is why Slot gets paid the big bucks and why he's getting hyped up. He did win, he already won a Premier League. So I guess by default, for most results-based analysis type people, that makes him better than a lot of the other managers in the Premier League. So now he gets to show us. Actually, before we move on, there was a lot of chatter. People watch Osimhen play like he typically plays, very energetic, very physical. Had to get subbed at some point because he got kind of injured, like he always does. Wasn't even sure he was going to play before the game started. He was a game time decision, and he played well for the most part. Can you explain to the listeners why he didn't end up in one of the bigger leagues?
Victor Osimhen makes so much money. By the way, it's Nigerian Independence Day, so this is a great time to talk about this. Shout out to my people. I hate you all and I love you at the same time. Victor Osimhen makes so much money, okay? And there's a thing called tax. And in England, they pay a lot of tax. And had he gone to an English team, Victor Osimhen would have been making so much money that even these big clubs would have been looking for levers to pull. So that is the only way I can explain it to you. In Turkey, they have their own thing, okay? Don't ask me, ask Salt Bay. Don't even ask Erdogan, ask Salt Bay, okay? They can explain the Turkish laws. I can't, okay? But let's just say this. They circumvent a lot of different things. It also makes a lot of money. Like, a lot of money. It's like 1 trillion naira.
Yeah, like, I read something that he's making around like 400K a week after taxes, which would make it that's a lot of money. And I know Haaland makes that kind of money in the Prem, but it's basically him. I don't think Salah makes that kind of money. No. And I don't know that, as impressive as he's been, given his injury record, I don't know that you want to make that kind of investment in that kind of player.
Let me tell you this.
As a player, though.
That is my favorite striker. And I talked about this guy ad nauseum privately. We've talked about this. I wouldn't spend that much money on Victor Osimhen because I love him and I know how that boy's fractured, okay? He broke his face because he goes too hard. That's literally why he broke his face. He's an all-action striker who will miss a ton of chances, but when he's banging, he's hot. But it's like, I've seen it for country, and he will run you ragged, but that guy's not where I'm not spending that much money on, so I'm sorry.
It's not, you can't put all your chips on that player, like, because he won't be available all the time. Then you're like, why are we paying all this money? So I understand why a lot of Prem teams overlooked him, but that says nothing about his quality as a striker. Let's move over to Kazakhstan, where Kairat Almaty hosted Real Madrid, the famous Los Blancos, and caught an almighty ass whooping. Because Real Madrid were like, you motherfucker. It's like when cops try to chase a motherfucker, and they finally catch him, and they're like, you made me run, motherfucker. Then they start fucking, hitting up with that fucking ICE harassment, that fucking police brutality. That's what happened here, essentially, because it was a mauling. Los Blancos took that derby defeat out on Kairat Almaty, and it was basically levels, but at the same time, it took a penalty, a mistake by their goalkeeper, by Kairat's goalkeeper, an 18-year-old that looks like he's 12, for Real Madrid to actually crack the game open. So Mbappe scored the penalty, and the remaining goals didn't really come until they got tired, essentially, is the way I view it. I feel like, Real Madrid brought in some players off the bench. Kairat obviously doesn't have the same quality. They got tired after chasing the ball all game, and Real Madrid added 4 more goals. So we're not going to get too much into the details, but Mbappe scored a hat trick. because big team, small team, he will bully you. Which begs the question: do you think he'll hit 60 goals this year?
He has 13. Yes, he's hitting 60 goals. He hit 44 last year, and he was just warming up.
Fair enough.
We've got a small detail in the beginning of the game. In the first 10 seconds, they almost scored against Real Madrid in the very first 10 seconds. And Madrid looked a little bit punch drunk from the weekend. I was like, are you guys good? But then they grew into the game. But they looked a little bit punch drunk in the first 5 minutes. So what is happening here?
Maybe it was the 4,000 miles they had to travel. That's a long-ass trip, man. That said, should we, maybe we don't want to over-index one game, but there's a reason why I mentioned the fact that it took a goalkeeping error and fatigue from the other team for Real Madrid to really score the 5 goals that they scored, in my opinion. Would that worry you if you were a Los Blancos fan?
No. They got their ass beat. They traveled a while. They had to get themselves situated. They'll be fine. They were fine.
All right, well, let's not linger then. We go over to Bergamo, where Atalanta hosted Club Brugge and beat them 2-1. It was a comeback victory. After Christos Zolis, the Club Brugge striker, scored an excellent first-half goal. It looked like they were about to continue their excellent start to the Champions League campaign. But Lazar Samardžic's penalty and a late header from Mario Pasalic turned the game around for the hosts. These are both blue and black teams, the two blue and black teams that are not Inter. Which one is your pick for dark horse? Because I feel like one of these teams is going to do something.
It'll probably be Atalanta, but caveat, I love the way Nicky Hayen has Club Brugge playing. They're a very, very fun team. They play Bayern Munich next. They're probably going to get beat because Munich are Munich. But I'll say this, watch them and actually watch the way they attack. Watch the way he does his fullbacks, the way he overloads in the middle. They're a fun team. I was nerding out when I was watching them. So yeah, go watch the Brugge next time.
I may remember the Solis goal. It was really beautiful. Go see that. Or just watch a Champions League highlight package like we do sometimes. Marseille 4, Ajax 0 from the Velodrome. Igor Paixão scored an early brace to send Roberto De Zerbi's men on their way against Johnny Heitinga's Ajax. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also scored 1 and assisted 2. Not bad for a 36-year-old.
Back to it. Front foot, actually.
Still, incredible. He got to be careful, man. Like, as a man of a certain age, nigga, you're going to get yourself a bacchiotomy doing that shit, man. You better chill with all that. That said, Igor Paixão scored a double in this game, a brace. He was at Feyenoord, and he was briefly linked to Arsenal, and Coach was not a fan of that. Unfortunately, Coach can't be with us today because he was at the Arsenal game, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But do you have any opinions on this player? Do you think he's talented enough to play in a place like England, or is he just some guy? Is he a guy or is he a guy?
He just seems like a guy to me. Like, I haven't really seen anything. I mean, I would judge his performance, but Ajax are really, really bad, so I got to see more of him. So, yeah, we'll see more.
Fair enough. On we go. Inter hosted Slavia Prague, 3-0 at the San Siro, an easy stroll for last year's finalists. A Lautaro brace sandwich, a Denzel Dumfries strike. On we go to Chelsea Benfica, 1-0 to Chelsea. But the highlight of this game was really not the game. It was the fact that Jose Mourinho returned to Stamford Bridge for the first time in a minute, and his visit to his spiritual home ended in a defeat for Benfica, thanks to an own goal set up by Garnacho, but an own goal scored by one of your faves, Richard Rios. Benfica were actually the better team in this game, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Chelsea, and this is how bad Chelsea were. Chelsea fans some of my Chelsea fan friends said, I miss Mudryk. So...
Oh man, Chelsea fans, they just miss transfers. Really, that like the minute the transfer window closes, they're unhappy about shit. They just start bitching about shit. Like, I thought you niggas was the world champions. Like, you told us all preseason that you're the world champions and you're about to win the league. Go ahead and do it then. We watching, we waiting on you motherfuckers. Like, how have they spent all this money and they're starting Tyreek George as a 9? Like, weren't they about to sell him to Fulham right before the season started?
Yeah, they got him playing false 9. Liam Delap's injured. João Pedro got a red card last game.
Again.
They called him Mike Gui from Sunderland. He's not good. They have no center backs. So they spent that money, and God knows what they did with it. So long may it continue. That's all I got to say.
Long may it continue. We move over to Cyprus? Yeah, that's what it's called. Sorry, we got a suburb with a similar name around here, Paphos hosted Bayern. And Bayern did what Bayern have done all season. They beat them 5-1. The Germans raced out to a 4-0 lead. conceded one right at the end of the first half and got it right back in the second half via Michael Olise. We know why we're here. Harry Kane did Harry Kane things again. What was once a marriage of convenience between Bayern and Harry Kane now looks like, like they really like each other. He wants to stay. He really likes it there. He likes it in Germany. He's taking responsibilities at the club. I guess my question to you, Tosin, is if we created a drinking game based on Harry Kane's scoring record, how long would it take us all to die?
Yes. I was watching the game, right? And I looked up to my screen and I said, this motherfucker did it again. You know the sickest part about this? He didn't play striker this game. He played attacking mid. Nico Jackson was the striker.
Yeah, and Nico Jackson got his first goal for Bayern as well in this game, so
that he did.
All fun all around for them, even though they conceded a goal, which is weird. Atletico Madrid carry on.
It was a really good goal, by the way. It was a banger.
Who cares? It's too many goals to pay attention to. It's Bayern, like whatever. Atletico Madrid hosted Frankfurt and beat them 5-1. The Germans were never in this game at any point. Antoine Griezmann scored his 200th goal for Atleti. Very nice. Frankfurt, good team, but they concede a lot of goals. I feel like not even few. I think it's a statistical fact that they've conceded 4 goals in their last 3 games each. Like 4 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals. So that's 12 goals across 3 games. Like they're not gonna last very long in this group stage, are they?
No. They like to give and they like to take.
Do you want to shout out your boy Grizu? It's been a while since you gave him some shine on the pod because he's been receding into old age, but he's still in Europe.
200 goals. Not many can say they've done that.
Yeah, who do you think? Do you think he'd be better in MLS than Heung-min Son?
They both kill MLS.
I don't know. I feel like Son is the better player. I think Son is the better player.
You know what it is? Son has more PMP than Griezmann. Griezmann's PMP is gone, and Son can I think a lot of people feel that MLS is like a soft league. Like MLS is it's a PMP league. They got nothing but South Americans and Central Americans there, so it's not what you think it is. That's why Steven Gerrard was dying in MLS.
On the final game from Tuesday's Champions League fixtures, Bodo Glimt hosted Tottenham, and that game ended 2-2, but really, it should have been probably like 5-2 Bodo Glimt. Like that first half performance from Tottenham was pathetic. Like it was bad. Like I actually took time away from the game I was actually watching to just marvel at how bad Tottenham were. Then in the second half, they got worse. Like, did you watch any of this?
I watched the whole game. Jens Hager was incredible from minute 1 to minute 90. I was like, oh, that's why Milan bought him. I was like, wow, what a player. He had a great game. But they were just wasteful in front of the goal. It was like you can literally and this is going to go back to my point about Ruben Amorim. Sometimes it doesn't matter how bad a team is, a certain player will always shine, right? Like, it doesn't matter how bad, he was shining. And I was looking, I was like, wow, like, your teammates are just not on your level. Like, you don't belong here. You need to go somewhere else. But he was incredible. Tottenham just looked like they don't know how to play football. It was really weird. Like, they don't know how to attack. Like, they can defend, but they can't do anything other than that.
I think that's the complication of having a coach. We all like Thomas Frank. We think he's a good coach, but he's essentially for the amount of time that people like us have paid attention to him, basically his time at Brentford in the Premier League, he's basically coaching underdog squad. So it means that he gets to play a certain way and not be criticized for it. Now that you're at a bigger team with more resources, with better players, you have to take the game to people. And I'm not quite sure that he's ready to do that. He'll probably get there. He seems like a sharp guy. But they just didn't seem to have any patterns. I didn't really know what they were trying to do. Defensively, Pedro Porro was fucking terrible. It was just all bad, but credit to them because they looked bad at points against Wolves over the weekend, but they managed to come back in that game. Same thing in this game. They managed to come back. They essentially equalized with what should have been the last kick of the game, but there was such a long VAR check to confirm the own goal that the game ended up going for like another 10 minutes after that, after they scored in the 89th minute. So credits to them for coming back into the game. I think Van de Ven got the first goal back to get them back in the game. Then we thought Richarlison scored the second goal, but it was really an own goal. But it was just a terrible performance all around, but I still got to give them credit for getting a point.
Remember what I said about Liverpool, about balance? Tottenham are very balanced. They got solid defense, solid midfield. Their attackers aren't the best and people are hurt. But because of that balance, Tottenham can end up doing things like towards the end of the game. So I wasn't really shocked that they got the 2 goals because they're better than Liverpool, especially on paper. I mean, football's not played on paper, but Tottenham should have been handling them. But they eventually muscled up and got a goal. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll see how Thomas Frank gets along with this because this tends to be the trend. I think we predicted this though. It's like against the bigger teams, they'll look good because they can just bunker down and play on the break. Like they beat City 2-0 doing shit like that. But against teams that are smaller, when you actually got to like break them down and knit patterns together, it's looking like a struggle for them. But that's their lads. It's Tottenham. Let's move over to Wednesday's games, Tosin. Union St. Gilloise hosted Newcastle, and it did not go well for them. 2 Anthony Gordon penalties were sandwiched by goals from Nick Voltemada. He's had a really good start to his career in England. And Harvey Barnes, a guy who I think is actually better than Anthony Gordon. I think we talked about this already, though. Very comfy victory for them in Belgium. Any thoughts from this one?
Anything like is facts.
Facts. Karabakh 2, Copenhagen 0. The Azerbaijani club have now won 2 of 2 to start the Champions League. Did you see that one coming?
No, neither did they.
Neither did they, but I suppose they were trying. Good for them. And one of the bigger games, no disrespect to the games we just talked about, Monaco 2, Man City 2. City looked good at points in this game, but they fumbled the lead twice. They went up 1-0, got pegged back to 1-1. Went up 2-1, got back to 2-2. And of course, Haaland scored a brace. The header was really nice. But essentially, I think he had 7 touches in the first half, and 2 of the touches were goals. And one of the touches was the kickoff after they conceded a goal. So 3 touches were just like goal related. And he had 4 other touches. And I guess he's objectively one of the best players in the world. Eric Dyer scored the tying penalty late in the game because I guess he got kicked in the face by Nico during a bit of a goal-mouth scramble. When he stepped up to take the penalty, I thought, is Adi Hooter taking the piss? Like, what are you doing? Why is Eric Dyer taking penalties from Monaco? Like, I don't understand. But Jordan Teze's goal, Tosin, did you see that?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to talk about Jordan Teze's goal. Donnarumma is so tall he could be a small forward. That's how tall he is. He's still gonna reach that ball.
LeBron Donnarumma was in the air and full stretch, couldn't get there. What incredible shot! Probably the best goal of the round, I want to say. I'm not really. There was a good team goal in the Barcelona game. We'll talk about it in a minute here, but outside of that, that was probably the best goal of this round of games.
Teze's celebration was very, very just black. He was doing some like TikTok dance. I think I was like, yeah, this is a black man for sure.
If it's a TikTok dance, based on current updates in the news, it's not a black thing. It's an Israeli thing at this point. So let's just call it what it is.
Who won the next game? Can we move on to the next game?
No, we're not. Monaco 2, Man City 2. Okay, on we go to Dortmund 4, Atletico Club 1. 4 different scorers for their Serious club, including Carney Chukwuemeka on his return from injury. Dortmund serious for 1 and comfortable 4-1 win over Bilbao. What'd you see in this one, Tosin?
Carney Chukwuemeka's goal was actually pretty interesting. Again, Karim Adeyemi's fast as hell. Bilbao just looks drunk. I don't know what happened to them this season, but they look not like Bilbao.
Yeah, they ran into Mikel Arteta's tricky Reds and got smacked. And I think Nico Williams is also injured at the moment. So when essentially your best player is missing, your talisman, things can be tough. But yeah, this was real comfortable for Dortmund. It could have been a tricky fixture, but it looked very easy throughout. Let's go over to Naples, where Napoli hosted Sporting and beat them 2-1 thanks to a brace from, guess who? Rasmus motherfucking Højlund. Tosin, how many times are we going to have this conversation about people leaving your club and flourishing elsewhere? How many times are we going to have to do this, man?
Has everyone seen Good Luck Chuck? Sometimes it's got to be the one that makes the person prosper. That's all. That's your role in life. God has a purpose for us all.
No, well, honestly, when your team is nicknamed the Red Devils, I don't think you should be invoking God, okay? So just shut the fuck up and suffer. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, these are not bad players. It's just a bad environment. But let's talk about this game. I thought Sporting were pretty competitive. Probably could have gotten something out of this. I don't think Napoli were much better than them. Now, that said, Sporting got their goal through a Luis Suarez penalty. Not that Luis Suarez. The Luis Suarez they bought from somewhere in Spain to replace Victor Gyökeres this summer. decent player from what I can tell so far, but we don't follow the Portuguese league that closely. That said, 3 points are 3 points. Good job by Napoli, I'd say.
Do you know who assisted all of Rasmussen's goals?
I want to say it's Kevin De Bruyne.
And you will be right. A City United.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy, man. City of Manchester flourishing in Naples. Just weird. Everything's weird, man. Oh, man. The best game from Wednesday was probably Villarreal 2, Juventus 2 at La Ceramica. George Mikotadze scored his debut Champions League goal for Villarreal. 18 minutes in, but second half started. Juventus came out with better energy. Jonathan David had a terrible miss. Point blank, basically empty net, puts it wide. Held his shitty ass hair and everything. Like, it looked bad. But luckily for him, it could have been 5 minutes later. Gatti scored a bicycle kick. Did not see that coming. Then they took the lead through Francisco Conceição. I almost said Sergio, his cunt of a dad. But Francisco scored a lovely goal to put Juventus ahead, and it was looking like they were going to have a good day. Then in the final minute of the game, Renato Vega, formerly of Chelsea, is he there on loan or did they sell him permanently?
They probably sold him. He looks like Zach Fox, by the
way. He scored a last-minute equalizer, and the points got shared. Did you get a chance to watch any of this? Because I was watching the Arsenal game.
I did. It was a fun game. And guess who got man of the match?
Nicolas Pepe.
He was so spry today. I love Nicolas Pepe.
I should have watched it.
The crazy thing is, I know we're going to make our customary joke because we have to. But,
no, we don't.
And Coach is not here. But the thing is, I was watching Nicolas Pepe and I was like, man, it's a life thing for me. It's like you go to anywhere in life that suits you, that makes you the star, makes you feel like you're comfortable, you will shine. And Pepe he was the best player on the pitch today. It was incredible to see him. Like every touch, every dribble, he looked great. And he won man of the match. And all we can tell you is find a good woman because this is what happens.
Find the best woman. And if you can't find a good woman, I'm actually curious. I wonder what if I were to, this obviously can't happen, but if I were to sit down with Mikel Arteta, 4 or 5 years after he chased Pep out of Arsenal, I wonder what he would think of the player now. How much does he think he's developed? Is he good enough to actually play at Arsenal now? I'd be curious about that, but we'll never know. And speaking of an Arsenal, they hosted Olympiacos at the Emirates, a fixture that often has gone poorly for the Gunners, but they won this one 2-0. A very wasteful performance from Arsenal. Leandro Trossard was especially guilty of missing chance after chance after chance. Everything kept falling to him and he kept fucking it up. But Arsenal did score early and they scored late. The early one was via Gabriel Martinelli, who tapped in a goal after a lovely pass from Odegaard into Victor Gyökeres, who did what he does in all those highlight packages that we watched before he actually showed up at Arsenal. Knocked 2 defenders over, got a shot in. It started trickling like it was going to go over the line, but it ended up hitting the post. Martinelli was nice enough to actually watch it a bit before he took the goal away from the guy, but he had to take the goal because if he didn't take the goal, the ball wouldn't have gone in. Then after all those missed chances in between the games, Saka came off the bench to kind of end things with a few minutes left in the game to kind of make the game feel safe. Olympiacos weren't bad, but they were definitely outgunned in this game, no pun intended. Marinakis was in the crowd or in the stands, and they showed him a bit too much. It's like, just because he owns a team doesn't mean we need the camera to be cutting to him over and over again. The camera, if it's going to cut away from what we're watching on the pitch, have it cut to beautiful women, okay? I'm not trying to look at no fucking big-ass Greek shipping magnet. I don't give a fuck, okay? He ugly. Put pretty women on the screen. I know it's London. Actually, London do got fine girls, man. I've been to London, come on, man. Come on, program director. Step it up. Catch any of this, Tosin?
I did. I was just shaking my head at Trossard. I was just like, this guy, just finish your chances. Stop playing with your food. I'm more happy for Saka than anybody else, though, because Saka needed that goal. I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't say Saka's a confidence player because that boy just has confidence.
No, he's not a confidence player.
No, he goes there and does what he needs to do. He does whatever he needs to do, he does that. But I was happy to see Saka amongst the goal scorers. It made me happy. So that's all I can.
Yeah. I mean, it was just cool. It was just cool to get to the, Mikel took a while to bring the subs on today. And it was about the 70th minute that Saka and Eze got off the bench. And he had them standing next to him. And, all the Lord Lugar jokes started rotating in my head because I was like, oh, on Independence Day, you got a Yoruba boy, Igbo boy. Like, oh, this is wonderful, And yeah, they essentially settled the game. But I also give Arsenal credit for getting through this assignment at essentially half speed. I don't think Arsenal really turned it up. But the one thing that was obvious from this game is that the transition that Arsenal are making away from being a very deliberate, control-based team to more of a direct team. It's definitely becoming more and more obvious. Like Odegaard was just slanging it. Just, that Kevin De Bruyne quote about pass completion, how it doesn't matter to an attacking midfielder. Odegaard read that in the last few weeks because he was just.
You know what said that? Dion Waiters.
Deep cut. Let's go over to the Montjuic, where Barcelona hosted and lost to PSG. The glamour fixture of the round saw PSG come from behind to beat Barcelona 2-1. It was a bit anticlimactic. I was kind of watching it on the side. I don't feel like the game was like super popping. There were some injuries. We're missing Dembele. Who else? I think Kvaratskhelia didn't make it. I think he got injured over the weekend. Barcelona have some absences as well, but Yamal did make it, and he started the game on smoke with a lovely pirouette run type thing that he did that blew the internet up. But Rashford assisted Ferran Torres for the opening goal, and there wasn't much else from Barcelona after that. I don't think. Like PSG got back in the game slowly. Sandy Mayulu equalized right before halftime thanks to a nice run from Nuno Mendes, the best fullback in the world probably. It's him and Jurrien Timber, but Nuno Mendes gives you a lot more offensively, I gotta admit. And they took the lead and the win in the last minute of regular time through Goncalo Ramos. And that was that for the glamour round of the glamour fixture of the round. What did you see in this one, Tosin?
It looks like Enrique trusts the hell out of his players, and they trust him back. And that's why they won the game. He genuinely trusts his players. I mean, he doesn't have his big dogs with him, but he knows who these teenage academy players are. He knows who his big players are. Lee Kangan had this one chance where he cut in and smacked the post. I was like, woof. I don't know how he managed to just burrow through the defenders and get a shot off, but that was beautiful. But Luis Enrique's players trust him, and it's really nice to see that receptive where the coach trusts the players and the coaches trust the players back. Because he was just calm. They were losing 1-0. We called his players, go in, go get a goal, go do it for me. It was nice, so I like that.
Yeah, the Mayulu finish was really nice. I thought it seemed very mature. Like he scored it, and I almost didn't believe it was him. Not because I don't rate him, but because it just seemed like such a veteran. Like it felt like Lewandowski scoring a goal as opposed to Mayulu, And deserved victory for PSG, I'd say. And in the final game from this round of fixtures, Leverkusen drew 1-1 with PSV in what I'm calling the Malik Tillman derby. The goals came from Christian Kofane and Ismail Saibari. Did you catch any of this? I did not see any of this game, brother.
I had the what's it called on today, so I watched everything. The Golasso show.
Golasso joint, yeah.
Yeah. So Saibari has a very, very Islamic beard. It's the most Muslim thing you can see in a while. It's great. The Ghanaian kid Poku, he's very selfish, but you can tell he's got something about him. The kid that came from Netherlands to Leverkusen, the new one that came. I'm not sure if you remember him. I think his name's Ernest Poku. He just came from...
That is Ernest Poku. He scored the winner for them last weekend.
Yeah. He has very low socks, and he looks so nonchalant when he's playing. It's cool. He looks cool. So
yeah, he's quick as fuck. But yeah, good result there, Malik Tillman. I wonder how he feels after. I mean, surely he's a Leverkusen man now. Like fuck PSV. We move on. All right, sure. So that was your Champions League fixtures, folks. We kind of sped through those, but as we said at the beginning, niggas got shit to do. Let's talk about some games that are going to be popping up this weekend that we think you should watch. Real Madrid hosts Villarreal at the Bernabeu. What's your prediction for this game, Tosin?
Real Madrid probably wins 2-1.
2-1. Nico Pepe with the goal, huh?
An assist or a goal?
Yeah, he going. I mean, Real Madrid don't have who they got at left back.
Alvaro.
He's cooked. Pepe cooking that boy. Sevilla hosts Barcelona. I think Barcelona will kind of end this Sevilla run of joy this weekend, I think. You agree?
Yeah.
All right. Leverkusen, who we just talked about, hosts Union Berlin in the Bundesliga. What do you think happens in that one?
This will be a draw.
That sounds about right to me. Bayern hosts Frankfurt, the same Bayern that have been scoring all those goals and the same Frankfurt that have been conceding 4 goals per game lately.
This is sort of game where Frankfurt beats Dortmund 4-0, so if that happens, don't be shocked. But I got Bayern beating Frankfurt.
I got them beating them by like 5-0. It's gonna be brutal. Like I expect a brutal result. That's what I expect. Don't let me down, Harry. I'm gonna go put a 5 on a hat trick. That's what I'm gonna do. Dortmund hosts Leipzig. Do you think Dortmund will remain serious?
They will. I don't see anything from Leipzig this season, so I think Dortmund's got it.
Yeah, I think Dortmund are they look. It's Dortmund, and I'll probably regret this in like a month, but they look like they're about to get on a serious run. Like I like the look of them lately. Atalanta hosts Como in Serie A. Nico Paz or Chelsea Ketelare. Who has the better game?
Admiral Lookman does.
Yeah, very well done. Very well done. Let's just move right along. Fiorentina hosts somebody. I wrote down that wrong, people, so we're just going to skip that and go over to the glamour fixture. Juventus hosts Milan. I think Milan continue their run.
I don't think so. I know so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Pulisic. What does Pulisic do in this one?
I think Pulisic gets a goal and assist.
That's fair. He's in great form. Like,
and Fiorentina plays Roma.
Roma, that's what it was. Yeah, that's a big fixture. I'll be paying attention to that this weekend for sure. That's the one I actually want to watch. Juve Milan is not moving me as much as Fiorentina Roma. Call me a hipster if you want, but that's how I feel today. Maybe I'll feel different tomorrow. Lille hosts PSG in Ligue 1. Do you think Lille can actually take points off these motherfuckers?
No.
But they have Olivier Giroud.
You know who else plays? Ethan Mbappe. He scored his first goal like 2 weeks ago.
Hey, you know what, man? It's time for revenge, man. Ethan, they got rid of you. Come on, show me something this weekend, man. I believe in you, bro. And in the Prem, there are a lot of good games, but the glamour fixture is Chelsea versus Liverpool. Do Liverpool end their little bad run and we all go, oh, it was just a blip? Or do we think Chelsea actually do something? I don't see Chelsea doing shit.
Tyree George is playing false nine against Virgil van Dijk. He's going to throw it away.
Hey, man, Virgil weirdly has these weird kryptonites. Like, you know who Tyree George reminds me of a little bit? Ismail Assar. They got the same lanky build. So who knows? And you know how Virgil gets when Sarr pulls up. You know, Virgil gets real scared and she be doing that Andre Dudant meme like, no, please. You know, so maybe there's hope for Chelsea, but I think Liverpool will get the points at Stamford Bridge. It just makes sense. Anything else for the people then?
Granit Xhaka is going to go to masterclass on Man United on Saturday.
I didn't put that in the list because I didn't want to be mean, but I do agree. I feel like Granit Xhaka he's really going to show out. Like I think he circled this fixture alongside the Arsenal fixture for Sunderland when he signed up for them. Once he learned the name of the club he was signing up for, because he clearly didn't know where the fuck he was going when they signed him. That said, we would like to exit this episode of the pod, which has been very brisk, we know, but we hope you still enjoyed it. But happy Independence Day, 65 years of independence to our motherland, our fatherland, Nigeria. Yeah, Igo Beta. That's all I got. Igo Beta. We hope say Igo Beta, because you better, So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Toast, anything else for the people?
Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, all of it. We're there. Please subscribe to YouTube.
Yes, and also for those of you who check us out on YouTube, take a look at the shorts. We have some new stuff on there, and we'd like your opinions on it. Like, it's not just clips from the pod. It's actually some different stuff that might remind you of, for those of you who have been with us from the very beginning. Remember the original version of this show? Before it was a podcast, it was something else. That might be coming back. So let us know what you think. Put some comments in there. DM us. Let us know. We're curious because we're putting something nice together for you guys. Give us a couple weeks. In any event, thanks for rocking with us. Tose, you know what to tell the people.
Peace. Take it easy.
Peace.